Hello, and welcome to my webinar, 5 Tips for Beginners to Grow Your Business Instagram. My name is Elizabeth McGinsky, and I'm a Senior Director with the Enterprise Center, and I also work with our USMBDA Care Center. The USMBDA is the Minority Business Development Agency, and the Care Center was set up to help businesses with their small businesses specifically with their coronavirus recovery. In this webinar, I'm going to give you some easy tips for when you're first starting out on Instagram to make sure that you're set up for success and also set up to build lots of engagement and grow followers and revenue for your business. So let's go. Once you have your Instagram up and running, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you fill out your bio. By the way, as you can see on the example I've provided, you want to make sure that the image you have is either like the image of the interior of your store or your logo or something that indicates what your business is. Don't leave that blank. But I can't tell you how many times I see Instagrams for small businesses where there's nothing on the bio. You want to make sure you fill this out because when people come to your Instagram, they want to know who you are as a business owner, what kind of business you have. You can add important info like your business hours, a phone number, email contact, because you know in Instagram DMs, it'll start putting them into 3 different inboxes and you might miss them. And some people just might have a lot to say and would prefer an email. So as you can see in this example I provided from Down North Pizza, they have a great mission, check them out. You can put your email address in, they have their hours, they have their website, and most importantly, put your address because that helps people who are near your business to find it on Instagram. There are various tabs, and one of them is local businesses or things nearby. So if someone's just like, oh, it's a neighborhood, what's nearby? And they click on their neighborhood section, if your business is there and you filled this out, you'll pop up. If you haven't filled this out, people in your neighborhood might not even know that you're near them. So it's very important to make sure that you have address information on your social media. Okay, you have your page up, you have a bio. The next thing you're going to want to do is go and follow other small businesses and start liking their posts and commenting on them. And I don't mean comment something spammy like, come follow my page and like for like. Leave like a substantive comment, like if it's a furniture store and they posted some chairs, like, oh, those are nice. And if you don't really like something and don't think they're nice, and don't do it at all. Regardless, just start interacting with other pages. Now, why would you want to do that? Simple. When people see you liking, commenting, they see that your page exists and they might get curious and come look at your page, come look at your content, and become a follower or become a customer. That's one reason. The other reason is that you want these small businesses to follow you and like you and interact with your content. Because the more likes you get, the more Instagram's going to show your posts in people's feeds. I mean, it might sound a little selfish, it might sound like you're just purely playing the algorithm, but you kind of have to do it. Because if you don't interact a lot on the site, then people aren't going to want to interact with you, and then Instagram isn't going to put your content into anyone's feeds. Just because you post something doesn't mean it actually shows up in their feed. You have to actually be pushed forward by their algorithm. And generally, people whose posts get a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of shares, bookmarks, whatever it is, Instagram sees that as good content and then it shows it to more people. It's kind of a snowball effect. So interact a lot on the site. Similarly, if a customer tags you, like if they came to your store and really liked something, or if you're a salon and they love the haircut you did and they do like a little reel or a video or something kind of showcasing your business, go and like that, go and comment, because then everyone on their feed again sees you again, might come to your feed, and the customer feels special, like, oh, this business really like wants to thank me for being a patron and sharing their content. So it makes your customers feel good too. I don't mean something like super intrusive, like obviously you don't want to talk about anything personal, but you can at least comment on their post and the content that's in it, like great content. And you'll often see brands doing that on Instagram. And it's a behavior that you want to emulate. My next recommendation is to make sure that you post at least once a week. You can post up to 3 times a day if you want. I wouldn't recommend posting too much more unless you're posting it to like stories because whatever, people spam like 100 stories. But don't post into your feed more than 3 times a day because people will start seeing you as spammy and then potentially unfollow you, which is not what you want. You're trying to build followers, you're trying to build engaged, happy customers on Instagram. Now, if posting once a week is hard for you, I would recommend using, one of the free or low cost platforms out there like Hootsuite or Buffer, because then you can schedule posts on there. And you would use a post scheduler for your evergreen content, not for the stuff that like just happened that day, but for stuff that so you're going to have a promotion coming up next month. You can go and put those in now and just set it and forget it and don't worry about it. My only caveat is to make sure that any scheduled posts you have, if there's like a natural disaster or a bad event or something, you might want to go and turn those off to make sure your brand doesn't look super tone deaf, like when everyone's having a conversation about social justice and you're out there like, hey, come get your nails done. So use it, but use it judiciously. So how can you get the most out of each post that you make? Well, for one, try to post a variety of content, because if you're constantly just like, come to my business, this is a sale we're having, blah, 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 it just looks spammy. It looks like ads. No one cares. No one wants to engage with that. So definitely post like pictures of items you have, or happy customers, or inspirational words of wisdom that relate to what your business is, or celebrity inspiration that you like, or memes, or GIFs, or little videos. Just don't just constantly post ads. That's my first recommendation. So if that's what you've been doing, stop. My next recommendation is to write substantive but concise captions. So I see a lot of you just putting Instagrams up with no captions whatsoever. That is not a good idea because people are like, what is this? Why are you posting it? A caption, you don't want to write like paragraphs because no one reads it, but at least a few lines as to why you're posting it will really help contextualize your post for your followers. You'll want to add the local and topical hashtags on every post, and you can see on the image I included here, it's a blonde hair, it's a mullet, it's block color, because this person is a hairstylist, and these are all the hashtags that people potentially could be following that she'll show up in, and then that'll help you build likes, it'll help you get new followers. You always want to use the local hashtags. If you're in Philly, hashtag Philadelphia, hashtag North Philly, whatever neighborhood you're in or whatever neighborhood you're trying to sell to. If you're in the main line, hashtag main line. Regardless, include those local hashtags because a lot of people follow them. And anything else that's relevant to your business and relevant to the post. Don't hashtag things like follow me, come buy my stuff, like me. Like, no one is following that. As like a little tip, what a hashtag is, it's basically a set of images or subject area or content area that people are following. So I really like, for instance, brutalist architecture. So I follow the hashtag brutalist architecture. If someone on one of the buildings hashtags, wow, this is a cool building, no one's out there following, wow, this is a cool building. And you can even see when you go to enter hashtags, Instagram will show you how many people are using it. If a number is over 1 million, I've heard that yours gets lost just very quickly if you use it. But if the number's in like the thousands to the low 100,000s, you'll probably get a decent number of eyes on it. And I think that's really where you want to be. So if you see like 5 people using a hashtag, it's probably not a good one to use either. Always tag your location. You don't have to tag your address if you don't have a storefront, but at least tag your city. Because as I discussed earlier, you want people nearby to see you. And post visually appealing content. Try and post as nice images as you can. Download VSCO, VSCO Co. It's an app. You can find it. It has all kinds of cool filters. There are filters on Instagram. Maybe consider purchasing a cheap light box on Amazon. Regardless, make sure the pictures you post nice. If they're ugly, blurry pictures of food, people aren't going to see that and want to come eat at your restaurant. It's actually going to have the opposite effect. Instagram is all about aesthetics. So you want things that don't look fake, but at least look nice and that people would want to purchase the product or service. Finally, don't sleep on Instagram stories. They're actually another easy way to reach a new audience because if you use the right stickers on your stories, it'll actually show them to people who aren't currently following you. Now, you might be saying to yourself, stickers, what's that? Well, I'm about to blow your mind. When you go in to make an Instagram story, if you kind of swipe up from the bottom of your screen, it's going to pop up with a whole bunch of different stickers. And these stickers are great to add, engaging content. Like you can add polls, you can add yes or no questions. So for instance, if you're like a pizza shop and you want to consider adding pineapple as one of the toppings, people can have like pineapple on pizza, yes, no. Now we know that's very divisive, but that's just a small example of the kind of thing you can do. It's fun, it gets people to interact with what your business is. It can, depending on the number of followers you have, give you valuable feedback. It's, just something you definitely want to use. There are the location stickers, which just like with the posts I keep harping on, you want to add the locations into your stories too, so that people nearby, it'll just pop up into their stories. As you can see on the example I provided here, you can add like a temperature. So this is like an outdoor place and they're like, hey, it's 80 degrees, come out and have fun. That's like actually a way they're using this temperature sticker to promote their business. If customers tag you, you can share it as a story, so don't forget to do that. And then you can add stickers into that. You can tag the customer, you can write thank you. You can use stickers to add GIFs, like clapping hands or like money falling or whatever it wants. Basically, the more visually compelling and interesting your story is, the more likely people are going to pay attention to it. Because we all know a lot of people, maybe some of us included, who just sit there like flipping through the stories all day. So you got to make sure yours stands out. And then finally, once you have some good stories, whether it's like an awesome one that a customer tagged you in, or something really special that happened with your business, or one that you saw a lot of people hearted, you can actually create highlights on your profile and save those stories to it. And at any time, you can create highlights and go back into your old stories and add them. So you can just go do it right now. It's not like you have to do it right when you make the story. And you can see all your old stories and you can group them into sections. You can do a lot with it. And you can see on other people's Instagram profiles how they've really taken the story highlights and run with it. So that's yet another way you can use Instagram stories. And that concludes my short presentation on tips for your business Instagram. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the Enterprise Center, you can go to our website, www.theenterprisecenter.com.